The wind screamed across the pine-covered hills like a wounded animal. In the small town of Hartley Ridge, the power had gone out in most of the valley. Snow poured from the sky in icy sheets, blanketing the roads and blurring the trees into silhouettes. Inside their homes, people pulled out blankets and battery-powered lanterns, trying to outlast the storm. The air smelled of firewood, hot soup, and candles burning in silence. At the far edge of town, perched on a snowy rise, stood an ivy-colored yellow house. Warm smoke curled from its chimney, curling like incense into a starless sky. This was Miss Ellery's home, an old woman with a gentle soul, white braided bun, and hands that still trembled when she prayed. And in her window, like clockwork, sat a single beeswax candle. It wasn't just a decoration, it was a promise. During the war, her late husband, Thomas, asked her to light it every night. So I know where home is, even if I'm far from it. So I'll remember who's waiting for me. Though Thomas never returned from the battlefield, she never stopped lighting the candle. Years passed, seasons changed, the world forgot. But her flame stayed lit. It's not just for him anymore, she whispered to herself. It's for anyone who's lost and needs to find their way. Leah, a teenage girl with a sharp tongue and soft heart, had slammed the front door of her house 3 hours earlier. A bitter argument with her mother had sent her outside in the middle of the storm. "I'm done with you," she screamed, before vanishing into the woods behind their house. At first, it was just snowflakes in her hair, but then it was gusts that stung her cheeks like needles. Then she realized she was lost. No flashlight, no signal. Her phone screen had gone black. Her thin jacket soaked through, her hands red and trembling, her breath sharp. "God," she said for the first time in years, "if you're real, please help me." Just then, in the distance, beyond the veil of snow and pine, a light. Not a street lamp and not a flashlight. A soft, golden candlelight flickering in the dark. Leah didn't know why, but her heart jumped. She followed it, trudging through thigh-high snow, her legs numb, her soul flickering like the flame she could barely see. The cottage door opened before she could knock. The golden glow poured out into the snow like heaven had opened. Miss Ellery stood in the doorway, tiny, wrapped in a shawl, and smiling like she'd been expecting her all along. "Come in, love," she said without question. "You made it." Leah stepped inside to warmth, real warmth. The smell of cinnamon tea, apples roasting, an old hymn playing softly on a hand-crank radio. She burst into tears. Miss Ellery simply wrapped a blanket around her and placed a mug in her frozen hands. They sat in silence for a while, the kind of silence that doesn't need to be filled. Later, Leah asked, "Why do you keep that candle in the window?" Miss Ellery's eyes twinkled behind her glasses. "Because light draws people in. It's what saved me once. And someone out there always needs reminding that home is still here." She opened a well-worn Bible and read slowly. "You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Let your light shine before others." Then she said, "Jesus didn't ask us to light the whole world, just our window, just our little corner. And sometimes that's enough to save a soul." The next day, Leah called her mom with tears in her eyes. She went home, changed, not just in mood, but in heart. Weeks later, on a walk through town, she passed Miss Ellery's home. The candle still burned. She smiled, and when she got home, she lit her own candle. You know, you don't have to be famous, loud, or flawless to make an eternal difference. Your light, your love, your presence, it matters. Jesus doesn't ask for the biggest flame. He asks for the one that stays lit. So, shine in your window, because someone is following your light. God bless you, my friends.